And we are back. This time, Steve here with Peter.
All right, so if we lose this game, we know it's all been my fault this morning. And if we win, well, I mean, well, we know what's really going on. So we're gonna play X-Wing live, or X-Wing co-op, I should say. And this is not the official mod that is out. Fantasy Flight is working on an official um, co-op mode, but this is what's called. Actually, it's up here. It's Heroes of the Artillery Cluster. So this is a mod that's a fan mod. Right now, I found it by joining the Facebook page, and they have all the stuff up there available for X-Wing 2.0. They also have the 1.0 version, so if you're still playing old X-Wing, you can actually do this as well. You're going to need basically a starter set per person, so you're going to need about 2 TIE fighters per person, and then you're going to need other things, TIE interceptors, things like that as well. But basically, the point of this is a campaign game. So this is the first mission in the campaign, and it's called Local Trouble. So I'll read through the mission briefing for us real quick, and then we'll get set up, and I'll kind of explain what we're doing. So the mission briefing is: Welcome to the Outer Rim, pilots. Our convoy is currently en route to the Hidden Rebel base in the Parmel sector, and you'll be on escort duty until we arrive. We've picked up a group of enemy signals in nearby asteroid field, likely an Imperial patrol. Intercept those ships and keep them away from the convoy until we can execute hyperspace jump to ensure our base remains hidden. All right. So basically, if you look right under the, so if you're looking here, if you look right under where it says friendly territory, we have 10 turns. We're in friendly territory. Players set up on their edge. So if you look, we just start on that A area on the map there. We have 6 asteroids, and we set them up basically how they told us to. So on the bottom left of this page, it says Rebel Victory. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. For mission objectives, right above that. Mission objectives. Primary objective is engage the Imperial forces. At least one rebel ship must survive and remain in play till the end of turn 10. So basically, survive. And we get bonus experience if all Imperial ships are destroyed. Everybody gets 1 experience. And if no rebel ships are destroyed, everybody gets an experience as well. So those are bonus objectives we're trying to do. So kill all of them and survive. Now, if you look one page over, over one page, it kind of tells you how the enemies spawn. So if you look, it says at the top, it says squad alpha, beta, gamma, delta. And if you notice arrival, it says setup under alpha and beta. And then if you scroll over the next column, it says vector 3. So we have to go back to the map, see where vector 3 is. So scroll back over, and you'll see that little 3 blue arrow at the top. Can you see that, Steve?
Yep.
So that's where they're coming in. And then you'll see the 4 next to it, which will come in play in a minute. So if you look, for 1 player, we'd spawn 1 TIE fighter for the Alpha Squadron, and then it's +1 under the 2-player section. You see that?
Yep.
And then for the Beta, we're spawning them in 4, and it's just going to be 1 TIE fighter. Now, if you notice on turn 4, we're going to get Squad Gamma come in, and so we'll worry about that when that happens, but we're actually going to get a TIE Interceptor coming in on turn 4, and then later in the game, on turn 7, we're going to get 1 more TIE fighter.
Oh boy.
So we're going to have to kill all of them. Yeah. No, it's fun stuff. Hopefully it'll be better than, I mean, it can't be worse than everything else we've done today.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Can only go up.
Right. Exactly. So the way the mod works, and Steve, have you ever played on TTS with the mod?
Not with this mod, no.
Okay. So the nice part is, if you notice, I just took the controller here and dropped it on that ship, and it actually now lets me, that controller, control that specific ship. So the
Nice.
yellow one's now controlling the yellow ship. So you're going to need to do the same, because I want to make sure you have control over that. So I dropped the green one on the green ship. And so now as I zoom in, I'm going to hit place ship. So we can modify it, move it, do whatever, but as soon as we hit place ship, now it's ready for gameplay. So for us, go ahead and take your... Steve's going to be playing the Y-Wing here, and I'm going to be playing the X-Wing. So go ahead and take your controller down here, Steve, the unassigned dial, and drop it on your ship. And I believe that'll so you grab this dial, drop it on your ship over here, and that'll let you control it if I am not mistaken.
Cool.
All right. So pull the dial off the ship. Now grab your ship and place it anywhere in our deployment zone. So our deployment zone for X-Wing is anywhere one range away from the edge of the board, anywhere we want. And we can face any direction. You can turn yourself just a little bit, a lot, however you want to do it. And it's actually easy to do if you use the dial here. During setup, you can like nudge yourself like 1% turn or 5% turn. So you could see over here near on your dial, see how it lets you kind of nudge yourself however you want. You can move yourself up a little, back a little. You can turn yourself a little. So I've nudged myself a little bit. So I'm facing a little bit toward them. So I'm starting out wide, but I am tilted toward them a little bit, maybe even a little bit more. Once you've got that all worked out.
Yeah.
Great. So at this point, do place ship, hit place ship under it. And we're good to start. All right, so let me explain a little bit about your ship so you know what you're controlling. You've got a Y-Wing, and it's got its own special dial. So I've put a turret on you. So if you notice, that's this little thing here. You could turn it to determine where you're shooting it. Your turret, so it attacks for 2 dice at range 1 to 2. And then your veteran gunner, after performing a primary attack, you may perform an additional attack with that turret. So that'll give you a second attack. So you can attack with your primary gun, which gives you 2 dice at any range. And then you can perform an attack out of your front arc only with your primary weapon. And then you can perform a turret attack afterward. And then the droid I gave you, so one of the problems with the Y-Wings is mobility. Can you hit the moves button on your dial? Sorry.
Where's the move button? Oh, over here. Yep.
Oh, can you see it?
Yep, I can see it.
Oh, I can't see it. So I guess everybody in the audience can see it, though. So what this droid does is make all of your 1 to 2 speed maneuvers into blue maneuvers. So you can do more red maneuvers to kind of get yourself... you get strain every time you do that. But the blue maneuvers will remove the strain. So it means anytime you perform a range 1 to 2 maneuver, you'll be removing strain from yourself.
Sweet. I like it.
Now, Steve, you are actually aiming right for this asteroid right now. You are more than welcome to change where you're set up if you want, get closer to the line if you want, or leave yourself where you are if that's where you want to start.
No, I'm gonna flank to the right a little bit as I come out here.
Okay, so you're good with your setup?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm taking the rulers off. Okay, it should be coming off at some point. Toggle ruler should... Oh. I don't know why they're not coming off. Great. Well, we're not going to toggle the rulers. They're just there. All right. So I'll tell you a little bit about my X-Wing. So if you haven't played X-Wing 2.0, you have... X-Wings have these foils now, the S-foils. So you can either have them open or closed. So we always wondered, when watching the movies, what they do. So when they're open, your ship just works as normal. But if you close them, it actually gives you another maneuver and allows you to kind of do an extra move at the end of your normal move, rather than taking one of these other maneuvers here. But it reduces your attack dice by 1 for the round.
Got it.
So it gives you a little bit more mobility options, but it does take away your attack power. So before you do each move, you decide whether you're going to keep them open or closed for the turn. I also got advanced proton torpedoes, which is a range 5 attack, but only at 1 range, and it basically has 1 use. As soon as I use it, I get rid of the charge. And then I have an astromech. So if I take some damage, I can spend one of these tokens as an action to repair that. So instead of focusing or doing whatever. And that's that. All right. So let's just get started. I'll kind of explain the rules as we go. But first thing we're going to do is select a maneuver. So Steve, go ahead and select your maneuver. So hit that moves button. Select one of those maneuvers for yourself. And hit set when you're done.
Let's do it.
Okay, so if you look here, that's our initiative. We're both initiative 2. Now, the enemy's initiative, they're not going to do dials or anything else. You just look on their card over here. So if you look in the upper left, they're initiative 1. And so they move first, but attack last. So we start with the first enemy, which will be this Academy Pilot over here, then do Academy Pilot 2, then to 3. So these two are actually going to take the same maneuver because they're in a group for now until they basically get separated or whatever. All right, so they're going to look and see where we are. So I am not directly, so they look at the closest person, which would be me in this situation because I'm all the way up, and closer in line. So if you look, I am not directly in front of him. So if you zoom in on the Academy Pilot, you'll notice that they have this green bar that kind of shows you where their range is. But in second edition, they also have this, what they call their front arc, or I forget what it is. It's like basically directly in front of them. It's the width of one of these range rulers. So this line, basically, if you follow it all the way down, would determine if you're directly in front of them. So we are not directly in front of them, though, if you'll notice, but I am in his front arc. So we look at this, or I'm sorry, this one down here, and zoom in on it. So if we were directly in front of them, we would use that kind of top left thing to determine our moves. But because we aren't, but we are still in their front arc, we're going to use the top right. And if you notice, there's 3 range bands. There's green, orange, and red. And if you look in the bottom right, it kind of shows you at range 4+, you use the green band. At range 3 or range 2 and fleeing, and I'll explain that when it becomes important, you'll use the orange band. And if they're at range 1 or range 2 and closing, they use that red band. They also, if you notice, they have an exclamation point up there. That's if they're stressed. Now, they don't typically take stress, but there are things that can happen to give them stress. If they would need to take stress, then they would use that movement band instead. So basically, we are rolling in the green band in the top right section. So Steve, why don't you go ahead and roll this green dice and see what they want to do.
Number 2.
So it's a 2. So if you look at the green band, it says basically 1 to 4. They do a slight 3 move toward us. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and if they rolled a 5 or 6, they would have gone 4 straight. So they're going to do a 3 move. So we go ahead and select their dial. I'm going to set them at a 3 move toward me, and I'm going to do this. All right, so 3 move toward me, and I'm going to set their dial, and then I will go ahead and flip it over. So this is how you activate it, and hit move. Boom, and they just do it.
Slick.
So yeah, the mod's kind of slick. And then if you look back at their thing, so first thing, select the nearest enemy, then select the maneuver. They resolve the maneuver. All right, so the first thing they would do, if you look under section 3 on the left side of the TIE Fighter card here, it's their action selection. First thing they would do was resolve any damage. So if they have a damage ability that says take an action to flip it over or whatever, they would do it. Then they would do a barrel roll to avoid an arc, but still get a shot. Well, that's not going to be a thing because they're not in range of us. Then they take a barrel roll to get a shot. Again, they're not in range of us, so he's not going to do that. So if you have a shot, they would use the focus. They would get a focus token. So we're still not there. Then they do a 5 to avoid the arc. And last but not least, 6. If none of those other things apply, then they get a
evade.
I forget what these are. Evade token.
Yep.
All right. So we're giving him an evade token because he's not going to be in range no matter what he does of hitting us. Then we're literally going to do the same thing for yellow because they are in a squadron. So they are going to move together, at least for now. Flip him over, move him, and boom. He's right there. And guess what? He's going to evade as well.
Sweet.
All right. So now we do the same thing. So go ahead and roll a d6. I'm not going to explain it every time for the green guy. You are going to be his target now because you are closer than I am. So he rolled a 5. So again, going back to that, if you roll 5 in the upper right quadrant, that is a 4 move straight ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Now that might move him into the asteroid. If it does, I'll explain what we do because then we change what he does. He does a maneuver called a swerve, basically, if he would run into it. So let me flip it over and execute it. He did not run into it, but if he would have, he would try to swerve to avoid it. And what that basically means is you take the smallest possible movement change so that they wouldn't either run into it or his movement template wouldn't go over it.
That makes sense.
But that wasn't the case, so he just does what he does.
Can I have a swerve ability too? Because I'm pretty bad at flying, just to warn you.
No, whatever you set your dial to is what happens. So, Steve, why don't you go ahead and go first? Flip over your... and he's going to evade as well. But, I mean, it's not going to
matter. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so I need to flip this thing over, you say? And
hit F, yep.
And then do I click in the middle? Oh, click move.
Hit the move button.
Boom. Wait. There it goes.
All right. So you've done your move. Now you get an action as well. Actually, now that I think about it, if you want a token, I think you can push on the right side under T.
Oh,
and if you're going to give yourself a token, you can give yourself a token.
I don't think it matters. Oh, might as well get focus, right? This is a good focus. There's that word.
All righty. All right, so I'm going to flip mine over. I'm going to... I have to decide first. I'm going to leave my S foils... I'm going to actually close them. So that way I move faster. That'll give me an option of moving instead. So first thing I'm going to do is move 4. And let me think. I'm going to kind of try to judge because you can't pre-measure in this. I'm going to... You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to move forward a little bit. So I am going to use my S foils. I'm not going to focus my... So I have 2 options with the S foils here. I can either just do a little bit of a bump forward, or I can do a focus and bump forward, but then I get a strain, meaning, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing that. I'm going to take a first. So I hit here, hit token. I'm going to take a focus first. And then I am going to, if at the top of this, I can move. So which way do I want to? I think I want to go straight forward. So I can go straight forward, a little turn left, a little turn right. I'm just going straight forward. That is the benefit of my S foils. That might have got me into range of these guys. Now, the negative is it might have got them into range of me as well.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, you're close.
Yes. So I believe there's a button, or if you right click. Now, I will be honest. Oh, fire arc front.
Boom. There you go.
Okay, so clearly not in range. Now, if I am not in range of them, they are not in range of me. So I took a strain for nothing, and actually that reminds me, got to put a strain on myself. So there's a strain token. All right, so that's the end of the first round. Nobody's shooting anybody because we are not in range. So I'm going to move the round. So this 8-sided or this 10-sided dice up here is what we're using to track the rounds. We're moving to round 2. All the green tokens disappear. So Steve, you're promoted. You can hit delete on them as well.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. And we move on to the next round. Great. So same thing. Let's set our dial. So flip them back over. Go ahead and set your move for the round.
Ooh. Let's see.
Now, I am strained, so I don't want to be strained anymore.
2. Man. I'm gonna try a crazy. I'm doing some crazy maneuvers. We'll see if this works.
Do crazy maneuvers, Steve. I would not expect anything else from you in crazy maneuvers.
What?
Oh, you know what? If you want to help me get rid of these, we can hit lock and delete, L and delete on them, and get rid of these things. I have a feeling that it was just because I saved the setup that it's. I mean, to be honest, the ones on the outside don't really matter.
Oh, okay. There it goes.
Okay, so there you go. That at least makes our map a little bit cleaner. So yeah, as you can see, we're fighting right outside the Death Star here. Welcome to the. I don't know why we call this friendly territory. It doesn't seem very friendly to me.
No.
Is your maneuver set for the round?
I'm set. Let's do it.
Okay, so because they have lower initiative, they are going to decide, and Academy Pilot 1 decides first. So we'll look, and I'm not mostly in his front arc anymore, I think. I believe I'm actually more in his side arc. So he's going to use this top quadrant here. So like kind of the third one over. 1, 2, 3 over. Yep. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry. So he's going to use this arc right here. Now, we looked at range. We know he's 4 range because we didn't have attack. So we're going to be using the green again. So why don't you go, or I'll roll the dice this time.
Sure.
And he's going to do a 5. So if we zoom in on that, 5, so 4 to 6 is a 3 sharp turn. So we're going to set his dial to 3 sharp turn and see what happens. Move. It's a 3 sharp turn toward me. And sometimes they don't do the smartest things, but that's okay because they are who they are. They are, we've seen Imperials try to shoot.
That's
right.
That
doesn't. So he does that. All right. So I'm guessing this other one's going to need to swerve because if he did that same 3 sharp turn, I'm going to guess he's going to go through there. Now, there used to be a way to show preview. Wait, set. There used to be a way to show the marker.
Oh, there it is.
I made him go the wrong way. All right. So hold on. It was supposed to be a 3 anyway. So 3 sharp turn, set, flip. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so he would go through that asteroid. So he's going to do what's called a swerve. And actually, the way we know that, if you look at this over here, it tells you what the terrain does. So for asteroids, tells you what happens if you land on them or go through them. But it also tells you that, see under AI, that last column for asteroids, it says swerve. So they will try to swerve to avoid them. So instead of doing a 3 sharp turn, they'll do a 3 slight turn because they can only change a little bit. If this does not work also, if he still would run into something, then he would go right back. He's going to run into something, but he's going to run into his buddy, not run into the thing. So if I hit move, perfect. All right.
He made it.
And he did not end up touching, so he bumped. So what bumped means is that he is not allowed to do his maneuver for the turn, or his action. But what we forgot to do is do the action for red. So let's go back and see what that does, because that actually might move him out of the way anyway. So I might have messed this up. So actually, let me just take his turn right back. Undo. And we'll see what happens here. So let's take red's action first. So looking down the priority list, number 1, he doesn't have any action. He would try to avoid my arc. Well, he can't avoid me. No way. But he might swerve over to get a shot, because I think right now he does not have a shot at me. Or does he?
He might have a shot. It's hard to tell. I mean...
Let's see. Let's do a line ruler. If I go straight down the line...
Yeah, it's not.
I think he does not have a shot. So he's going to roll. So actually, he's going to get out of the way of his buddy, too.
Yep.
And so he will just roll straight over.
Boom.
And now I'm definitely in his range. No problem at all. All right. So now this guy will do his move and he won't bump. So bad news for us, because now we look at his actions and he doesn't have to roll to do anything. So he will get a focus token, because if you look down, the 4th priority is the first one. That would actually apply here.
Mm-hmm.
So this one will get a focus token. Great. So on to the next ship. He is going to be targeting you because you are the closest, and you actually are straight ahead of him.
I am.
So he's going to use that this column over here, this top left one.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll the dice, Steve.
See what happens.
See what he does.
A 2.
So 2 to 5. I mean, anything but a 1. He's going 5 forward.
Yep.
I mean, these TIE fighters can fly.
Come at me, bro.
That is. He's definitely coming at you. No question about that. 0. All right, and he is also going to get a focus token. That's great. So, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go first.
All right. So, what am I doing? Nothing very good. I am slight turn left and 1 movement. So let's hope I don't bump them.
Oh, what the?
Did you? Does not say bump.
Did not bump. Holy cow, man.
Does not say bump. All right. So because it is. Actually, Steve, can you go to set again on yours so people can see the different maneuvers? I just want to kind of explain the movement template.
Oh yeah.
We
no
never
problem.
really did that. So if you'll notice,
hold on.
there are some that are maneuvers that are red, and there are some that are blue. Red maneuvers add stress to you, which basically means you don't get to perform an action. And blue maneuvers remove the stress. So because I removed the stress, because I did a blue maneuver, if you look at my dial here, you'll see that it's blue. Because it was a blue maneuver, and I am not stressed. And if I bump them, I also would not be able to perform an action. But I did not bump them, so I get to do an action. So I'm not going to use my droid because that would repair me, and I'm not damaged at all yet. So what I'm going to do is lock, and I'll show you why in a second. And I'm going to lock on this guy right next to me. Now, the lock tokens, I wonder, I have not... So here's a lock token. I wonder if I drop it on myself, if it'll show my number. No. All right, so I'll just have to remember it's mine, but I'm locking on this person in front of me.
I'm pretty sure you're going to spend
Now,
the lock token anyway, so...
Yeah, well, lock tokens typically allow you to re-roll misses, or re-roll whatever dice you want when you're attacking, but we'll see in a second that I'm not going to use it for that. So go ahead and take your turn, Steve.
Okay, let's see. I'm hoping I maneuvered between these. We'll see what happens. Oh, gosh.
All right, so you hit the asteroid, so let's go over here and see what happens.
You have hit a wall.
Right, skip your perform an action step, so you don't get to pick an action. You roll one attack die and suffer any damage on your ship. On overlap, also skip your engagement is activation.
Yeah, so I'm awesome at this game.
So does that mean you don't get to shoot?
I think so, because I think I'm, like, busy trying to maneuver around the asteroid. I don't have a ability
Right, so you don't get to shoot.
Yeah,
So go ahead and roll one attack dice. So the red dice are attack dice. I'll put one in front of you. Go ahead and roll it. Ball. So no damage. Good news. And so now we get to attack. So again, moving, the worst pilots go first. So because they're pilot skill 1 and we're 2, they're worst pilots. And so they always have to move first, but we get to shoot first. And in fact, if we kill them, they do not get to attack back. So we are shooting before they are. All right, so I'm going to use my proton torpedoes over here. So it says attack, and if you notice next to it, it has a lock icon, which means I have to discard my lock to do this attack. So that's why I locked on them. So my lock is gone. I also have to flip this over because it uses a charge. So spend a charge. Actually, no. No, yes, it's a spend a charge period.
Correct.
And then I can change a normal hit into a critical. But if you notice, it's only range 1. And actually, I'll go ahead and put my range rulers out. Just so you can see what range 1, 2, or 3 would look like. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Range 1 is obviously this first band. Range 2 would be the second band. Range 3 would be the third band. So he's in range 1 of me. So I get to do this attack. It's a 5 red dice attack, but the other benefit you get of being at close range is you get an extra attack dice. So it's actually a 6 dice attack. All right. So 6 dice attack. Now, for his defense, if you look on his sheet over here, see he has that 3 next to the green symbol there. Mm-hmm. That means they get 3 defensive dice. So I get 6 attack to their 3 defense, and I'm just gonna roll them all at once. Ow, that's terrible.
Oh man.
Right. So if I had an eyeball, I could change all these eyeball results to hits, but I don't because I did not focus. So I get 2 hits. These would both be critical hits, which would mean, bad stuff for them, but they avoided twice, so nothing. So I literally got in perfect range for my proton torpedoes, fired them, and them up blanks. So if you guys have been following the stream today, this just follows with everything else that's been going on. No bueno.
It's the trend.
So it's the trend for today. So now they're just going to attack the nearest enemy because that's what it says on their sheet over here at the bottom under their attack step.
Oops.
So attack the nearest enemy. I'm clearly at close range for them. So if you look, they get 2 dice. And because they're range 1, they're going to get another dice. So that'll be 3. And let's look at my defense. So looking on my card over here for the X-Wing, I get 2 green dice. Why don't you go ahead and roll their attack for them, and I'll roll my own defense.
Sounds good.
Hopefully you roll as bad as I do.
Unfortunately, I didn't.
All right, so they got 1 critical hit. They are not focused, so they don't get to turn that eyeball into a hit. And I got 1 evade, so no damage. All right,
Cool.
next one. Same thing. Now, he does have a focus token. So this ship will be able to change those eyeball results. So go ahead and roll it.
Only 1 hit.
All right, one normal hit. And so I don't have an eyeball, so I can't change it. So thankfully, I have shields. So I have 2 shields. So I'm just going to flip one of them over. And now I only have 1 shield. All right, Steve, same thing for you. 3 dice attack against you. You are in a very unmaneuverable Y-wing, so unfortunately you only get 1 defensive dice. And I'll go ahead and roll the attack against you, and you can roll your 1 defense.
An eyeball, which doesn't help me.
Okay, and unfortunately, he was focused.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah. So, you know how today's been going?
Yep.
He discards his focus token to change those eyeballs into hit results. So that's 3 hits against Steve. So thankfully for you, you do have 2 shields.
Yep. And then 1 damage.
Yep, and that just stays face down, so it shows 1 damage. Now, if you look on the ship, we can go over the stats. So, if you look there on the bottom of the card in the black box at the bottom, you'll see that there is a 3 in red. That is your attack. That's how many attack dice you roll. A 1 in green. That's how many defensive dice you roll. Yellow 6. That's how much life you have. And then blue 2 is how many shields. So we already used those 2 shields, and then you have 6 life. So you've taken 1 of your 6 damage already. And that is 2 rounds of the game so far. And so we're moving on to round 3. So I am just going to change the dice to 3. And let's set our maneuver dials and see how we deal with them, which is not going to be great.
Let's see. I don't have a... Oh, no, I do. I do have a get behind them.
Oh, it's on the right. Yeah, the U-turn.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I'm doing something just because it's fun, not because I think it's the right move. So, and it's worked out so well today to do stupid stuff like this.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. So we're in round 3. No new enemies yet. We got 1 more round, and then we had a TIE interceptor. It's great since we've done literally no damage to them at all. This is going to work out super well. Oh, he did. The pilot did have to use his focus token, but even if he didn't, they'd go away at the end of the round. All right. So let's roll for them. All right. So we're going to roll for number 1, and they are no longer in formation because they're facing different directions now. I am clearly in their front arc, though, and I am clearly at short range from them.
Definitely.
So go ahead and roll and see how they're going to maneuver.
Maneuver 3.
3. So if you look at maneuver 3 at short range, wow, he is going to veer toward me at a 2. That was a lucky break for us. Thankfully, this is just an academy pilot, and they are not very good at moving.
That's okay. We're never good at shooting either, so.
Yes. Well, and, some people might have a problem with this because it's like, well, that's stupid. Why would they do that? Clearly, they're not going to get a shot. But you have to remember, it is the AI, and so bottom line is they, didn't want it to be too ridiculous, and they wanted them to have some variability so you wouldn't just be able to predict where they were going to be every single movement. So that's why they decided to have it a little bit variable. All right, so I'm going to have them move, and they move right past me, and they're facing away from me, so hopefully that means I get a good shot. But go ahead and roll for this other one. Am I in their front arc? Let's see.
Yeah.
Do this in front firing arc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. So if you look, that yellow line. So nope, I am not. So go ahead and roll. We'll be using the other table over here. Determine how they do it.
6.
So they're going to do the same. He's like, hey, I saw that guy do this thing. It looks really good. I'm going to do that thing as well. So to maneuver, let's set it, let's flip it, and let's move it. Oh, you bumped into me. That is an awful, awful shame. Oh, so the first pilot, keep forgetting to do this. They get to do their action, so they don't resolve any damage. They can't roll to get in out of my range. They can't roll to get in my range. They don't have a shot, so they don't focus. So they're just going to take a evade, the first one. Second one bumped me, so cannot take an action at all. And let's see what the third one does. So the third one, again, let's see if you're in their firing arc. You sure are. Oh, well, let me leave it up there so everybody can see if they want. So you are definitely in that yellow band.
Yep.
So we're looking at range 1, or the red range, and we're looking at, so go ahead and roll.
Okay, see what it is. We got maneuver 4.
Maneuver 4. So they're going to go to, I guess, right. So, and that might put them into the thing, which means they would swerve and just do a straight 2 if that's the case. Flip it over and see. Yep, that puts them into it. So they're going to swerve to avoid it. So I'm going to undo the move. This mod is so slick.
I love this mod.
Yeah, I mean, and that forces them to bump into you, but that's okay. They don't care about bumping into you. They just didn't want to do it. So that means they lose their action, and you and I get to perform ours now.
Sweet.
Go ahead, Steve. Why don't you do your movement dial first?
Let's do it. Flip it over, and I've got a special maneuver. This is something that is called K-turn, I believe. So it's going to let me flip around, actually, if this works properly. See what happens.
Boom.
Yeah, look at that.
U-turns you. Now, you do get a stress for that, because if you notice, it is red. The color of the maneuver is red.
Right.
So you do not get to perform an action this turn. So if you click on the little token thing, I think you can add a stress to yourself.
Let's see. Yeah, do this. There we go.
All right, and I'm doing a different maneuver just because I could have done that same one, but this is new actually to 2.0, I think. Maybe it was later in 1.0, but it certainly wasn't one of the starting things. Oh, I'm going to flip my foils, by the way, so I don't get -1 attack die. And I would have done that last turn as well. In all honesty, I forgot to do it. But obviously, I didn't use that maneuver. And so, anyway, bottom line. All right, so this one is a turn left. So let me show the token. So I do that, and then at the end, I flip around. So I put my side to it. And actually, I can move forward or back within that range as well. So I'm going to move forward on this turn when I move. Let's see if this does it right. So my back should be aligned. Yeah, so you see my back is aligned to this dial. I could have also moved backward within that. So the front of my ship was aligned with the dial, or I could have gone right in the middle. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
So, yeah, if you see, so it's kind of a cool new maneuver. Now, this was a red maneuver as well, so I am also taking stress, so I don't get to pick an action for the turn. The good news is I'm right behind them. They are not facing the right way. That makes me happy. And this guy, because he bumped me, did not get to evade or focus or anything. So, yeah, that'll be good. So, Steve, why don't you go ahead and take your shot first? Now, if you right-click on your ship and click firing arc front,
boom,
show the firing arc. Okay, so he is range 2 from you. If any part of him, the closest part, were at range 1. Oh, this is kind of cool too. You see that purple line there? That shows the closest point to closest point. So if that would have gone through a terrain or something, they would have gotten extra avoid dice. So that purple line there, if you guys see that, shows what the closest arc is. Oh, that's really cool. That's really slick. All right, so you're at range 2. So you just roll your normal amount of dice, which is 2 red dice. You look on your sheet, 2 red dice. They are going to roll their normal defense. I say he, but who knows? It might be the female stormtrooper. So they are going to roll their defensive dice. So go ahead and roll all 5 of them.
No.
All right, that's fine.
That's horrible.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't have to roll their defense. Oh, that's true. Perfect time to use that. All right. So, but because you've got this gunner here, guess what? You also get to attack with your turret. And your turret, if we delete this, is also facing forward, although it's off of your ship right now. But yes, it is also facing forward because you haven't taken a maneuver to switch it. So, yep, you can do... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you did not already attack this round. Sorry. Gunner's not as good as I thought they were. Gunner, for some reason, cannot attack the same target that you already attacked. So, sadly, nothing happens.
Oh yeah. Good call.
So it's got to be a second target. Well, that's good to plan for in the future. All right, so I am. Oh, hey, you're at range 2. All right, so I'm gonna look at my range. I'm pretty sure I'm at range 1, which means, yep,
Mm-hmm.
which means that I get an extra dice. So normally I would attack for 3 dice. I actually get to attack for 4 dice because I am at close range. So let's see if we can take out somebody. Come on, boom! 1 hit, and they have 2. What the?
We're doing so
What is
bad.
going on here today? Great. So for those of you following it along at home, we're the worst co-op players ever. You should stop watching our YouTube channel. Stop listening to the podcast. We cannot win to save our lives today. Yeah, no, this is really, really bad. Guess what just happened? Also, we went to phase 4. We're going to add a TIE interceptor because what's going on is not bad enough right now.
Jerry says it's because we didn't say pew pew when we're firing, so.
I thought I shouted enough whatevers. Maybe it'll be obscenities next time. Who knows? All right. So if you come up here, you can look and see Squad Gamma's coming in at the beginning of turn 4.
Yep.
And you roll D6 to see where they're coming in. So go ahead and roll the D6.
Okay.
See where they're entering from.
Vector 5.
Vector 5. So if you go back to the map up here, Vector 5 is on the right side, exactly 3 down. So I'll just take this, go where they're coming in, and actually, these toggle rulers probably work now.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So it'd be 3 in. So this one will come in right here on the edge of the map. And I'll take the rulers away. Now, I need to set their dial, so I would take their dial, drop it on them, and do... Right. So, good news, we've just made life easier for ourselves.
Yep. Might be a fast game now.
Yeah, so they are also, because it is a Alpha Squadron pilot, let's look, they're also Initiative 1. Yeah, so they will be moving before us as well. All right, so let's delete all the circular tokens, so we keep our strain on ourselves, but I deleted the evade over here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with Academy Pilot 1. All right, so we will look, Academy Pilot 1, now we are in their back arc, obviously. So they're going to go on this back arc dial over here. So go ahead and roll a d6.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they want to do.
Maneuver 4.
All right, maneuver 4. So actually, I'm going to right click on them. And
I think you're range 3, looks like.
Yeah, I'll have to get a range roller for this. So it's closest point to closest point. So it's actually range 2.
It is 2, yep.
But he's going away from me. So if you look on the lower right of this card, range 2 and not closing, it's range 2 and fleeing. So we will still use the orange band of the dial. So what did you roll?
4.
So a 4 is he's going to do a sharp turn 3. This guy, and it will be toward me, and unfortunately I'm going to say I'm on your side of the map. So he's going to turn toward you. Because why wouldn't he? All right. Set. Flip. Move. All right. So let's look for their action. So they're not getting rid of damage because we have the inability to damage them. Let's see. Are you in their arc?
Barely.
Yes, you are. So they're not going to barrel roll to get in the arc. Are they at range? So let me check their range. When I do it, can you see?
I can see it, yes.
Okay.
So, not in
so
range.
you're not in their range, so they're just going to evade. Oh, you may end up in their range, but they didn't know that because they're... I'm going to say they're a poor pilot, but they're really not. I mean, they're doing better than we are. So, so go ahead and roll the dice, or I'll roll the dice real quick.
Sure.
5. All right, so we're behind them. He is super close to me. That's range 1. So 5 behind. So they're going to do a turn too. None of them want to U-turn. They're super scared of U-turning on us, as they should be. Let's be honest. Right, so 2 turn. Again, it'll be towards you. Oh, no. Actually, I'm on the right side. So this time it'll be the other way. Set. And let's move him. And he really wants to fly off the map completely. All right. Oh, we did not set our dials. We should do that first. Before we know where they end up, we should do that. But, I don't think it's going to matter. I'm going to do a blue maneuver. I won't look at the map. I'll just do a 1 move forward, just as a matter of course. So I don't take into account what they did.
Yep, same.
All right. So, let's go over to this Academy pilot over here.
Okay.
And go ahead and roll. You are at range, if I had to guess, I'd say 2. Yes, not range 1. You are at 2 and
a 5.
Retreating. All right, so 2 and retreating. So that'll be the orange.
Mm-hmm.
And behind them, and that's a 5. So it's a 3 maneuver again.
Mm-hmm.
And that would move them right into the asteroid. So we're going to do a 3 slight bend maneuver. Because again, they're going to swerve to avoid the asteroid. That worked. All right. So, and they're going to take an evade as well because they can't really do anything to avoid us. All right. So, Steve. And oh no, I'm sorry.
New guy.
Yeah, great.
New players entered the game.
Let's see. And you're at range 3 from them. So go ahead and roll. We're going to use a different chart this time. We're using this top one. So go ahead and roll to see where they go.
Number 1.
Number 1. So they're definitely at range, 3 from you?
Correct.
So that's the orange band. Look at number 1. And that would be a 2 slight turn towards you.
Not the orange band. Then we have 3. Isn't the 3 curve?
Yeah, so the green band is 4. So if you look in the bottom right,
oh, gotcha.
Again, it says R4 is the green band. So range 3, we're going to use the orange band. So again, you rolled a 5? Why is it so a 1? Is it a 1 you rolled?
No, it's a 1. Yes. I think.
Okay, so it's a 2 slight curve towards you, not a 3 slight curve towards you. Oh, that's why. I was like, why is this upside down to me? And actually, may as well turn it this way so I can figure out what's going on. All right, so a 2 slight curve towards you. Set it. Let's flip it. Let's execute it. All right, so they also have a different set of maneuvers. And I'm going to re-show their firing arc. So you are in their arc.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see where they go. All right, so their maneuver, first thing they do is resolve damage. Then they do an eyeball. They're going to focus, so they're trying to avoid us. They're number 2. Target arc and still get a shot. So they're going to strain themselves, which doesn't mean anything for them because they actually don't take strain tokens. So they're going to try to avoid you, I think, and they're going to do the barrel roll, if I'm not mistaken. Because if they move forward, they're actually, they do the barrel roll. Just to... Because actually, we're cutting into our Marvel Champions time here in a second. So this will probably be the last turn we do. So we're going to move over here.
So
we'll save this. And if we finish Marvel Champions early, we can come back to it. But we really just wanted to show you guys how it goes. But we'll finish this entire activation, this entire round. And then those of you waiting for... Well, we still got 10 minutes till Marvel Champions. So let's go ahead and finish this round now. What did Jerry say?
Jerry got a reroll.
Hey!
We need it.
Right. All right. So thank you. And thank you for donating to children's hospitals. All right. So why don't you go ahead and do your turn first?
Okay. This is going to be horrible. Because, I should have thought a little bit more was going on. But I'm just moving slowly forward and get rid of my stress here.
Get rid of my stress too. Now remember for you, Steve, because of that droid, you can take any 1 or 2 range action to get rid of stress.
Yeah,
That is the benefit of this astromech here.
for sure.
And I left my foils closed because I could have changed that right now. Actually, open them. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll say I open them because I would have done it just now, right before I took my maneuver. And I'm going to focus. And then I'm going to do this maneuver. So it's going to get me less dice, but it'll actually get me more dice again. So don't hit the asteroid. Okay, good. All right. Got me a little bit closer, and I do take a stress token. You know, let's be honest, after a day of losing, there's nothing more stressful than that. All right. Steve, you're going to get first shot. You and I both get first shot, so why don't you go ahead and go first? I'm going to show my firing arc, and we can turn yours on as well. I mean, the good news is we're trying to use your gunner.
So that'll work.
And that'll happen soon because we're not killing anybody. So at some point, we will have many, many targets on the board for your gunner to go for. All right. So again, do you see this blue line showing the closest point? So if you'll notice, that does not go through any asteroids. So he is barely in range 2, but in range 2. So he does. So if it was range 3, they would get extra defensive dice, but they do not. And your range 2, also if this blue target line had gone through an asteroid, they would also get extra defensive dice, but it didn't. You threaded the needle. Great job at moving your ship this turn, Steve.
Yeah, just don't think of what next turn because I have an asteroid in front of me again. I kind of like the asteroid, so.
Right. So you're getting 2 red dice to their 3 green ones.
But I didn't do the actions though, right?
Oh yes, you get to pick an action. I'm sorry, before attacking, yes, you get an action. So you could target lock them. You could focus.
If I do an action, can I is that a maneuver to change the turret facing?
So if you'll notice on the turret facing, there's an action there as well.
Yep.
So you could turn it up to 90 degrees. I don't know will be enough to get this guy behind you. Yeah, it looks like it will be actually. Right click and show. Oh yes, dark. Let's see.
Boom. Let's do it.
All right, so you're turning your turret?
Let's do it. Yep.
All right, so just here.
There you go. You got it. Cool.
Here you go. 90 degrees turret. Move. So that is your action. So go ahead and get a 2 dice attack on the Academy pilot.
Yep. We got some rerolls, so I need them. Boom. That's a crit, maybe?
Well,
he's got evade.
So I'll roll their dice. So what evade means is they turn any symbol into evade symbol. Now he wouldn't do this here because he already has enough to evade you, right. But it would turn an eyeball into evade. It turns a blank into evade. Now it used to be it would be an additional evade into whatever you're rolled. Now they're capped at the number of dice they have.
Gotcha.
So evading here would have gone to, but they did not roll that. They rolled a blank, or they didn't need it because because you weren't focused. All right, but you do get a second attack. Go ahead and attack the Alpha Squadron. Let's see how many dice they get. And what was the range on that? Is that range
2.
1?
I think it was 2.
Let's
take
pray.
3 dice. Oh, maybe.
Ooh, I'm calling it. I actually think it is range 2.
Yeah, it's really close.
Really close. But I mean, we should cheat at this point because we have no prayer otherwise. But no, go ahead. They'll get 3 dice.
Okay, let's do it. There we go. You can use the reroll they gave us. So.
Now he does have a focus token. I forgot to put it on him, but as part of their maneuver, they would have gotten a focus token. So they get 1 block because they would use the focus token to block that 1 damage.
But
so
oh my god, we did 1 damage to him.
So that is the first damage we've done. Now we could use the cards thing we're doing for us, but because it's just normal damage, they have hit counters here. We'll just put a hit counter next to them, so that way, because the card just takes up more space. Great. So my turn to attack. And I am focused. and I'm at range 2. So I get 3 dice. They get 3 dice. I got a focus. They got an evade. So let's roll this. Boom! Give you for Jerry. Jerry, what happened, buddy? Did not help. Great. So I am gonna use
the
this
reroll.
focus because the reroll. Okay.
Yeah, they give us a reroll.
Okay. So I am gonna roll this one. Boom. Okay. So I use my focus token to change this to a hit because I don't need it for defense because they are not in range of me. All right. So I use the focus token. 3 hits. They have 1 evade, but they do have an evade token. So I'll change one of those into evade as well. So they get 2 evades, but that's 1 hit on them. Unfortunately, none of them were critical, so it's just a normal damage. I don't need a damage deck. I just need a damage token. Alrighty. So, cliffhanger, everybody. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, no. We're not going to...
Skip it.
You're range 2 of him, so he's range 2 of you. They do get 3 dice. If you want, I'll roll their attack, and you get your 1 defense. So you can roll that after I'm done here.
Okay.
And they do have a focus token. So
perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
3 hits. Those 2 eyeballs get turned into hits. And roll your 1.
Oh, yeah, stop one.
Hey! Alright, so take 2 damage from the damage deck, put it next to you.
Okay.
This is the kind of day we've been having.
All right.
So I am going to save this, and we will create a new save name as X-Wing All Hope is Lost.
Accurate name.